Hello. Welcome
Hello.
to the coaching mixer where we drink alcoholic and sometimes non-alcoholic beverages and we chat coaching. I'm one of your hosts, Elena,
And I'm
and
Erin.
I feel like the intros are always
I know.
so awkward.
We don't have like weird sound effects though, so it could be worse.
Oh God. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, what are you drinking today, Erin?
Okay, so our beverage ingredient that we
Yes.
chose was cherries because we both had them. And then I
Mm-hmm.
went into my fridge this morning and the cherries that I had kind of like just gone off.
Oh
But I had frozen cherries. So
no. Oh, okay. Okay.
Steve, I have a really bad nail. I was on vacation and I like my nails have all chipped off. So I look insane for anyone watching on YouTube. Sorry. Um, but it is he made me a cherry gin and tonic. I was
Ooh.
just in Scotland and they love their G&T. I love a G&T, but like
Hmm.
G&T is like part of the thing.
Yeah,
So
that
yeah,
sounds
muddled cherry,
delicious.
lime, and feverfew tonic water.
That sounds delicious. That's actually very similar to mine, which is muddled
Mm.
cherries, fresh cherries. Thankfully, they hadn't gone off. Seltzer water and lime juice, and then a little bit of maple syrup
Yours is
as
like the
well for
healthier version
sweetness.
of mine.
Is it?
Yeah, tonic water is like pounds of sugar.
I guess. I mean, I did added maple syrup, so.
That I
Oh,
think
and the
maple syrup
alcohol
is a
is
health drink.
whiskey. Yeah.
Well, cheers. You don't have crazy
Cheers.
nails. I should have painted mine. Sorry,
I do
buddy.
not. Mine are just boring though. If I paint my nails, they don't last. Like I can't go a whole day without chipping them, so I just don't do it.
Oh, same. I don't know why I thought I'm like, oh, I'm in vacation mode. I'm gonna paint my nails. Like that was dumb. I was like hiking and stuff. It was not like,
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, you're like, your nails are telling a story of your vacation. It's like, look, I've been doing things. I've been so active. My nails are
yes.
chiseled away.
So tell me what are you thinking about lately? What's on your mind?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm thinking about that. And also, of course, if you have anything top of
Mhm.
mind relating to coaching, because I know sometimes like vacation energy, even if it's not a super restful vacation, which it sounds like it was an active vacation,
Mhm.
that can like
Mhm.
bring up some stuff too. Um, One thing that I am thinking a little bit about, I think we've like talked about this a little bit before in terms of like giving ourselves permission to be human in terms of and like have our own processes and like decide how we navigate client relationships and like if we want to break up with clients or if there's like something like we can just like make all of the rules. One thing I am curious about is how you handle like negative feedback from like a human standpoint because I think that's something that a lot of coaches are really afraid of and it can be really really difficult to deal with, so like I wonder if we break that down a little bit. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Oh, I think that's such a good topic because I I mean, maybe it's not the same in every like coaching circle, but I think a lot of times we've been trained. I mean, maybe this is actually true. Like in a lot of professional circles, I'm sure this is true. You're supposed to like receive feedback with grace and
Yeah.
consideration and spaciousness, and that like it's somehow frowned upon if you have a human response to that, whether that's in the moment
Hmm.
or whether it's like privately. I actually was coaching somebody today who's like going through something that feels really disappointing to them
Mm-hmm.
and hadn't given themselves like time even in their private life to just feel that.
Isn't it wild how our expectation for ourselves is like not only do you not act from a reactive place but that you not have a reaction.
Right. And I mean, like, I in some ways, I kind of understand that maybe in some, because I was thinking about myself. I'm like, I can definitely like try to skip the hard feelings. It's like an
Hmm.
instinct to be like, okay, let's find, like, I call it like the $10,000 of learning. Let's find it. Like, let's move on. Let's use this, like, this is a catalyst for something else.
Hmm.
Um, but it almost, in like skipping the suck, like the when it just sucks.
Yeah.
I think over time what I've sort of figured, at least for myself, I figured out is like when I do that, it's actually like cutting off part of myself.
Yeah.
Like it's not letting it's like saying disappointment doesn't have a place.
Hmm.
Like sadness, grief, frustration, anger
Hmm.
uh, doesn't have a place. And I don't know. It seems like it's hard to face those things, but I guess watching so many people through like processing work, it actually seems like a funny kind of ironic thing because when you sit with it, sometimes it's like, oh, this thing I've been avoiding feeling for 2 weeks. I've just processed it. I cried. The feeling has kind of dissolved, and I'm actually in a place to move forward now, like in 20 minutes and 30 minutes. And I
Hmm.
always think it's so funny. I'm like, wow, we're so scared of like, what if I cry and never return?
Never
I
stop
just cry
crying,
for the rest of my
drown
life.
in a pool of my tears.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen it happen.
Nor I.
Yeah.
Nor I. Yeah.
What about you? How do you
I
kind
don't
of work
know.
with it?
I'm thinking like because I think for a while pre-therapy, pre-coaching,
Yeah.
I was very much not that this is the same for you, but like I was very much what you described, where like I would gloss over all of the feelings
Oh,
and to
yeah.
the point that like I didn't really even feel them. I wasn't aware at all that I was glossing over that part. I was just like, okay, let me do better. Let me get better. Let me understand like the learning here. But I have found that late, and then like my store, like the moment that I'm in, I know we've talked about it recently. I was like, for a year, I was like not pushing myself very much at all. So that was like a very relaxing year. And
Mhm.
it had its downsides, but also I was like, oh, like la la la, just kind of like floating around. And now I'm like, challenging myself in a lot of ways and a lot of feelings are coming up around it and I'm noticing in myself a lot of reactivity that I'm not used to having. So I don't know that I have an answer for that, but I do know that like the expectation that we not have a human response is like inhumane. And I've also noticed in myself an expectation that like, okay, maybe I can have a human response, but then I need to like
Clean
tidy it
it up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Mhm.
I am allowed to have a human response for like an hour, maybe,
Mhm.
or like maybe at most an afternoon or a day. And then I have to be able to like show up professionally. And like to some extent, we live in the world, like that's true.
Mhm.
And also, I think there's some more compassion to be found in that. Like, what if you are a little off for a time? Like, what if it takes some time to process and integrate? I'm just like navigating all of that stuff right now.
Yeah. And gosh, yeah, I was a big glosser over too. And I mean, I think that, but I mean, I actually see that now not as like, oh, this was the problem with the old me. It's like,
Right.
oh, this was actually totally a protective way to get through life. Like that's why people do
Hmm.
it. We don't do it because it's like because it works. We do it because a lot of times other people can't handle our emotions. Like if you have
Yeah.
a parent or a co creator in your life, a partner who like when you are feeling something, they're like, well, now I'm feeling it and now you're making me feel, then it's like, oh, I better keep it clean and tidy because
Hmm.
I don't want someone to be sad because I'm sad or mad because I'm mad. It's like, I think it's protective in a lot of ways. I'm
Yeah.
glossing over.
Yeah. And I know you said it's not because it works, but I think in some ways it does work. Like
Yeah.
there is a
Yes. It doesn't work on
cost.
like making you feel good,
Yes,
but it
exactly.
like
Like
works
I
at
think
keeping the peace.
It does. And it
Yeah.
works at like help, like you can achieve a lot when you're doing that. And like
Mm.
what we're getting at here is there is a cost to
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
and that cost is like to you. And it is often, I think, more significant than we are able to acknowledge when we're engaging in that behavior. Um, but yeah, like I find myself a little bit like, oh, I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
Like, and while also holding the reality that like the fact that that's not my go-to anymore is huge, hugely, it's something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm really grateful for. And like I have a lot of safety in my life now where I can have a reaction and like that can come up. But yeah, it's a weird place. It's a weird thing to navigate, I think. Yeah.
I'm actually just like thinking about how much how I wonder how much of that for many people, I'd be curious to hear what people think about this, but like I wonder how much of that behavior actually is about managing other people. Because I'm just even thinking about when I primarily coached on relationships, people would have a lot of complaints about their partner.
Hmm.
And then I would be like, okay, so when you tell them that when they do this, it bothers you, what do they say? And they're like, oh, I don't tell them that
Of
what they're
course
doing
not.
is bothering me. It's
Mm,
like, but so basically to them, they don't see a problem because they're just allowed to keep doing what they're doing. No one's telling
right.
them like, hey, I'm not comfortable with how you're giving me this feedback that I didn't ask for right now.
Hmm.
Um, I see this in professional relationships too. But it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of times we are doing kind of like double the work. It's like the
Right.
glossing over helps us by not rocking the boat with other people.
Hmm.
But then those other people just keep doing what they're doing.
Right. And then
And
we
it
have to
like
manage our
perpetuates it.
response
Yeah.
to that. Yeah. That is interesting. You mentioned that you see this in professional situations. Like, would you mind sharing a little bit
Yeah.
about what your perspective is
Oh
on
my
that?
gosh. I would say probably like 90% of the coaching on like team dynamics that I do is one person really complaining about a certain behavior or performance of somebody on their team or somebody who works for them. And the person is always making it okay in some way because they don't want to be
Mm,
angry. A lot of times it's women, it's like, I don't want to be the angry woman.
yeah.
I don't want to be a bitch because the patriarchy. We're not allowed to be
Hmm.
mad.
And saying something is automatically like
Yes.
aggressive, is seen as
Right.
aggressive.
Pointing
Yeah.
out something in a straightforward way is automatically seen as aggressive. So they do all these things to like coax and coddle people, but then it turns into like, oh, my manager, like no one takes it seriously.
Right.
And it's so serious to that person, but they feel like I've got to present this professionally, which often means like nice and
Softening.
neutral. And
Yeah.
it'd be very helpful if you could get your end of the week review in by the end of the week. Instead of
Hmm.
like, it is Friday. This is an expectation of your job that you said yes to, that you're very aware of. And this is the fourth week it hasn't happened.
Mm.
What's going on there? How do
Hmm.
we make sure this happens?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so much of it, I think, comes down to like, are you willing to communicate your expectations and own them? In a professional setting, it's often easier because your job descriptions. If someone's asking
Mm.
their employee to do something that is not in the job description, that's a problem. That needs to be communicated or negotiated.
Right.
It's a core expectation of the job. Then it's like, okay, is this person the person for this role?
Hmm.
Should I be training them differently, moving them differently? Like it sounds really simple, but it's like tricky because
Yeah.
so much of us are used to glossing things over, not being angry. not being direct.
Yeah. Plus, there's an element of that that I can relate to of like taking responsibility in an unhelpful way. Like, there's like, I think it's helpful to have a relationship to situations like this where you are looking at how did I participate in this? What could I do differently? How did I contribute to this? And also, at times it can turn into a like only looking at ourselves as a way of like avoiding conflict with another
Yes.
person or of being like, hey, like I acknowledge I can do some things differently, or maybe you don't even say that part out loud, but like these are the expectations
Yeah.
that have not been met. Let's have a conversation about that.
And I mean, I think in an ideal world, when it comes to business relationships, none of those conversations would ever be somebody having them in their own head. Because I
Mm,
do think that's like 90% of the problem is someone thinks they said something in a way that was clear. Someone else thinks they heard something and understands
mm,
it and they're clear. And then
right.
everybody's mad that something got missed, something got lost. And then
Hmm.
everybody's thinking about the other person and not just saying, let's actually walk through how this mistake happened or how this thing got dropped, create a system around it, or like figure out if this is actually a fit for both of us,
Mm,
like
hmm.
collaboratively communicating.
Hmm. Yeah. I know you mentioned, like, obviously there's some socialization at play in this, but like, what else do you think gets in the way of that happening? I know I asked the question. I
Sure.
can share something that I
Please,
think gets
please.
in the way because I don't want to put you on the spot too
No,
much.
it's good. It's a
But
good question.
I think shame can get in the way of that sort of like the instantaneous, like I did there's if there's a problem here, if there is a conflict that I'm perceiving, I must have done something wrong. And then like shame. And it's very difficult to have like an open, honest
Mhm.
exploration when one or both people are feeling ashamed. Because then there's like defensiveness that comes in.
Um,
It's like nothing shuts down curiosity more than shame.
mhm. And on the flip side, arrogance.
Yeah.
Like a
Hmm.
total absence of ever thinking anything you're doing is wrong. Like
Mm.
if you've I've had people who've gone through like five different assistants in a year and they're just like, why is everyone terrible? And
Mm.
I'm like, how are you training people? How are you expressing
Hmm.
what you need? They're like, well, I just throw them right into the fire and they got to figure it out. And I'm like, if that's how you're training people, then you have to have the humility to actually let them figure it out. Not say,
Hmm.
because you didn't do it the way I liked it the first time, you're terrible and I'm firing you,
Right.
which
Yeah.
happens too. And not so much anymore with any of my clients. I typically tend to work with people who think everything that is happening is their fault.
Yes.
But over time, I'm like, it's good to have confidence, but it's really hard to have great dynamics if your approach is I am always right and there's something wrong with like everyone I hire, there's something wrong with them. And I have
Mm.
no self-reflection whatsoever around
Hmm.
how that keeps happening.
It's everyone else,
Yes, is everyone else
obviously.
is everyone else being stupid or sloppy or like whatever it is?
Yeah.
That's not usually the people where I've met them in certain in other instances. It's not my
Yes.
clients,
Yes.
but that's another kind. I think that's kind of the extreme on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, oh my goodness. I've only drunk half of this and I've already lost
It's okay. I have
lost
jet
my
lag.
train of thought.
I'm jet lagged and I'm drinking it. I'm good. We're good.
Oh, I
Yay.
remembered. Okay. Um, so first of all, like I love how you were talking about like some of the confronting things that as a coach we might deliver for our clients. And I'm thinking like, even for myself, like coaching is a space where I feel very comfortable having what other people might think of as like confronting
Mhm.
conversations.
Mhm.
And it seems like you do as well. I'm assuming you have navigated some reality checks with your clients where you're like, hey, here's something I see, while also creating space for them to have a reaction to that.
Yeah.
What do you think makes it? I'm not saying necessarily just in a coaching context, but like, what do you think makes it possible to have those kinds of conversations and confrontations?
The thing I can pinpoint that was a turning point in definitely in my coaching, but also like in my life as I age. I'm like, I don't need people to like have warm fuzzies about me. I don't need people to love me. I'm not unkind. I'm actually not like a here's what you need to do. Everyone, I'm not,
Hmm.
that's not how I
Yes.
coach.
Yes.
But sometimes if I think that something could be hard for someone to hear, I try to offer it in a way where I'm not definitively saying, hey, this is who you are.
Mm,
I offer like a maybe a more leading question of like, have you considered that
mm,
you are
hmm,
like for that last example, have you considered how I might say that is like, have you considered that the last five people were all from very different spaces, all had, you thought they were a good fit when you hired them, and then they got into your business and you decided they were terrible. Have you considered how that's happening, or maybe what's broken in the system that you're not getting what you need from people and they're not really understanding what you're asking for?
hmm.
I try not to make it like a have you considered you're a terrible manager who should never talk to people?
What? That's such a good coaching question.
I would never say something like that or even insinuate it, but I think I'm a little more I'm willing to be totally wrong and totally off base. And I will often preface things before that. I can say this might be so off base.
Hmm.
So like their defenses are not up when I'm offering a thought. It's it's not always straightforward, but like I
Yeah.
before I say something, I'm like, they could get mad. They might not like it.
Hmm.
And I will just straight up say, you don't have to like it. You might get mad. Could we
Hmm.
could we consider this?
Mm, yeah.
And very often, like in the moments where I've had tense conversations, I did have the conversation about a relationship where I was like, okay, so when you told your partner that this behavior was bothering you, what did they say?
Hmm.
I was worried that they were going to get mad about me saying that,
Hmm.
but I was like, it's it's so important to me that they consider it that I'm willing to like handle it if I'm wrong, if they get mad, like I don't need to be protected here, trying to help them with
Ooh.
this thing.
Yeah, I love that.
I hadn't really articulated. This kind of took me a while to get there, but I'm like, I hadn't really articulated like what that is. Like I'm willing to be
Yeah.
wrong always, but I'm also just like, I don't need them to take care of me.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that coupled with what you just said of if they get, oh, I wish I remembered the exact phrasing you use, but like essentially it's important enough for me to raise this thing that I'm willing to risk them having a reaction to it. And then like I have trust that I can take care of myself through that, take care of them through that.
And again, like it doesn't come up so much anymore. Probably just the nature of what I do now versus what I used to
Hmm.
do. Um, but usually it's like the opposite. It's like the client is so ready to beat themselves up. Like sometimes they'll
Hmm.
say things like, well, I know you're going to say that I should just, you know, not worry so much. I should try to reframe it. And I'm like, I'm not going to say that at all. I'm like, I actually think maybe we just need to feel disappointed about this for a little bit because
It's not funny
this
when you
sucks.
clients
What you're
tell on their
sharing.
inner monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they will sometimes like make me a puppet in their
Yeah.
self-shaming
Mm-hmm.
story. And I'm
Yes.
just like, wait, how did I get in there? I
I
thought,
don't consent to this.
no,
Please do not use me against
yeah,
yourself.
no, don't beat yourself up with my voice, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking about this. It's not something, similarly, it's not something I deal with too much with clients. I am finding myself having to deal with it a little bit more now that I'm teaching more.
Oh,
Because some of my students, you deliver some feedback and students have reactions to that. And so
yeah,
like I'm part of what I'm learning right now is like how to navigate that. And it's interesting. I think in coaching, first of all, I built like a lot of trust in my instincts, which like I have built in my teaching, but maybe not quite. I don't have this quite the same level of like confidence in my ability to at least like articulate things and my like non-attachment to being right at all.
yeah,
And then in coaching, I have a very, very strong belief like I'm coming from a place of love for the client. Whatever this brings up, we can handle that.
yeah.
And like I'm game to handle that. That I think helps having that foundation.
Ooh, what a gift for your students. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's like kind of like a beautiful lesson. Like, what is it like to watch someone be game for something that's probably uncomfortable, maybe uncomfortable for the whole room right now, and to stick with
Hmm.
it because like that, I think that's an essential skill of coaching, and it's really hard to like break that down into like what is the formula when you are uncomfortable as a coach? How do you?
Yeah.
What are the three-step process to being game for whatever the person brings?
Mm-hmm.
There's not like it is actually
Hmm.
something that just comes from your own depth. So,
Yeah, and also as well, like how to not take responsibility
hmm,
for the reaction, or like if they have a reaction, it doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It's just like their brain. And like you can be open to looking at like if you have maybe you have done something wrong, but like not assuming that necessarily, or not like thinking something has gone wrong, period.
I think a lot about. I'm sure I know we've talked about this in the past, but like I can't remember the percentage that she shared, but I was in a Bonnie Badenoch class once where she talked about how I think she said something like most people, like even very present quote unquote people, are only able to be aware and present like one, it's like something like it's like a 30% of the time. And the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the time we're basically in some stage of like rupture or repair.
Wow.
So like we talk for an hour when we record often. I'm only present for 30% of that. And then sometimes, and then I'm just like, oh, I was thinking about like a bird went by. What just happened? And then I'm like, oh, I'm back. Or like, oh, my drink. Yay. But like I think we're so distractible, but it's not like that's a problem. That's actually just like a feature of being
Mm-hmm.
human.
Mm-hmm.
But how we learn how to rupture and repair in relationship is like the bulk of a healthy relationship, which I loved
Yeah.
when I heard, and it changed a lot of my shame around like how present can I be?
How terrible of me to notice a bird and then you
Right.
spend like 5 minutes
Yes.
beating yourself up
Yeah.
while not being present.
Yeah.
Yeah.